Hari Om, everyone. Welcome back to our Ramcharitmanas sessions. As we have been doing in other sessions, guided by Pujya Swami Swarupanandji, after the invocation, we will chant Om Shri Chinmaya Sadguruve Namaha 11 times. This being the 108th Jayanti of Pujya Gurudev. As we chant, also bringing that bhavana of gratitude towards Gurudev. यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवाम्बोधे स्थितिर्षावता वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। श्रीराम जय जय राम ॐ श्रीराम 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 जय राम ॐ जय जय राम ॐ जय राम ॐ। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 It is said, for purity of mind, to get happiness and joy in life, one should do Parayanam, Shravanam, Mananam, Dhyanam of Bhagavad Charitra. Just doing Parayanam gives joy. Shravanam of Bhagwan's Charitra gives joy. To reflect upon Bhagwan's Charitra also gives joy. What to talk about? Absorbing the mind in Bhagwan's Charitra. But just like Bhagwan's Charitra gives joy, Bhakta's Charitra also gives joy. Charitra means, what did they do? What did Bhagwan do? If we reflect upon it, it brings a lot of purity in a devotee's mind. But Bhagwan's Bhaktas are such that if we reflect upon what did Bhagwan's devotees do, that also brings great purity. The portion that we are seeing now is Bhakta Charitra. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, majority portion of Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavad Charitra. What did Bhagwan Krishna do? But when you read Bharatji's Charitra, what do Bhagwan's devotees do? That is the insight we get. If we read Sundarakanda, it is Bhakta Charitra. how does the greatest devotee of Bhagwan function in this world? That glimpse we get in Sundarakand. That is the beauty. Another thing that happens with Bhagavad Charitra is mind becomes more inspired to seek the Lord. That Bhagwan's nature is like this. He has been a silent partner throughout my life. I didn't notice him, but through Bhagavad Charitra, by reading Bhagavatam, Ramcharitmanas, we get a glimpse into seeking Bhagwan wholeheartedly. That is how our Varanam becomes stronger. Our desire to seek the Lord becomes stronger. But when we read Bhakta Charitra, when we read the glories of a devotee like Bharatji, invariably a sadhaka feels there is still a long way to go. There is much more that I can do as far as my devotion to God is concerned. Much more I can do to actually love Bhagwan wholeheartedly. It's a very healthy spirit of enthusiasm that comes in a sadhaka. Even if you read Life of Saints, when you read, one thought comes, how are they able to be like this? And how much more that I should be doing such that I can become patra for Bhagwan's grace. Bhagwan is ready to give his grace. Samanyataha, it is always there. Samanyataha means in general. In Navavidha Bhakti, Bhagwan Puja Guruji said, Bhagwan's grace is there as Satta Rupa in this world. The very fact we are seeing an object means the existence of that object is derived from the Lord only. Bhagwan is Satchidananda, so that Sat Swarupa's grace is there as every object in this universe. But not only do we want samanya kripa, we also need visesha kripa. Visesha kripa is that which will remove samsara. Visesha kripa is that which will lead us in the right direction at every step. Visesha kripa is that which will pull us back at the right time and push us where we have to be pushed. The point is, whenever we read Bhakta Charitra, that is when we realize how much more we still have to walk on this path of devotion first. So we were seeing the portion of Bharatji's Charitra, where finally the army has reached near Chitrakoot, where Bhagwan is staying. But when Lakshmanji saw the dust cloud rising, that is when he got very angry. It is actually his love for Bhagwan Rama. He is not criticizing or angry towards Bharatji. He is actually expressing his pure love that he has for Bhagwan Rama. He says, until today, Bharatji has always done something wrong to me. We saw that portion where there was a point until which he was very composed in his speech. But once he loses his control over speech, he loses control over everything that he is saying. That is one manovritti, manovijnana, psychology, one part. If we want control over mind, we have to start control over speech. As long as speech is controlled, which is dama, mind will be controlled, which is shama. Technically speaking, it works other way. Mind under control, speech under control. But our scriptures say it works other way also. In fact, that is more effective way of working. Speech under control, mind under control. So it says right from childhood, Bharatji has been unfair to me. So what is his unfairness? In childhood, whenever they would play a game, teams would always be Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna. But it would so happen, if Bharatji was losing at any point, Bhagwan Rama loved Bharatji so much that he would make sure that Bharatji wins. So Lakshmanji says, Starting from there, always we have been cheated by this Bharatji, but today that is it. I will settle scores with him, and he doesn't know how powerful you are. He thinks that you are alone. He has come now to fight against you with his whole army. He doesn't know I am there with you. So all these things he says. Right at that time, Devata's Akashvani happens, where they say any action done in haste doesn't serve good. Any word said in haste brings regret, guilt to us later. He said none of that should be the case with you, Lakshmanji. So make sure that you think and then you act. You are saying you will go and you will fight with Bharatji, finish his whole army and everything. But think whether you really want to do that or not. Bharatji, previously our Nishadraj also said similar things. I will go, I will finish his army and this and that. But Nishadraj was also a devotee of the Lord. Lakshmanji, another devotee of the Lord. Right after this Akashvani, Bhagwan Rama, it is said Ramo Vagvidam Varaha. The one who is the best in speech is Bhagwan Rama. Not only what he speaks, but the time at which he speaks. You could have shut down Lakshmanji right after his first sentence. He said, no, that is not how you should be thinking. Or he could have started right after Lakshmanji finished. Bhagwan waited. First Akashvani happened. Lakshmanji already was feeling guilty. Why did I think in this way? After he thought in that way, to remove his guilt completely, Bhagwan speaks. These are all life lessons for us. It is not only important what we speak, but also important when we speak. If somebody like Lakshmanji is having all those emotions which are coming out, he says that is not the right time to stop him. And Bhagwan Rama has confidence on Lakshmanji that he will not go and attack without my permission. So he waits and then he speaks. But even when he speaks, he doesn't put down Lakshmanji. He doesn't say, what kind of person you are. You are my brother and you are talking about all these things, going and attacking Bharatji, who is such a good person. He doesn't say that. He says, this is his love towards me. Bhagwan starts by saying, according to Niti, according to Dharma, whatever you are saying is right. But there are certain things you have to consider. That Bharatji is somebody, even if he gets the position of Brahmaji, becomes very, very powerful, his mind cannot be corrupted. Rajapada will not bring mother. Rajapada will not bring mother. You see that 231 Doha, where we stopped in December. Bharatai hoina Rajamadu, Bidhi Hari Harapada Pai. Bharatji will not have Rajamada. Bidhi Hari Harapada Pai, even if he gets the pada of Brahmaji. Kabahu ki kaji si karani chira sindhu binasai. If there is a small glass of milk, you put little bit of lemon, it will spoil. But in milky ocean, if you squeeze one lemon, that milky ocean will not go bad. Like that he says, Bharatji's heart is like milky ocean. So much of love for God is there. This Rajapada, which is there, it's a small drop of lemon. It is not going to affect the milky ocean. One great Mahatmaji, his name is Ramkinkarji Maharaj. The way he would give pravachan, I have mentioned before also. If organizers tell him which prasanga to speak, he will speak. If they don't tell him, he would open any chaupai and speak on it for 7 days. So on this one chaupai, Bharatai hoina Rajamadu, Bidhi Hari Harapadapai, he has given one full discourse. Just on this one chaupai. And very beautiful point he brings out. He says, between the word pada and mother, Even if you see the way it is written, there is pa and the, and mother is ma and the. You see, there is a small knot that comes on pa. Devanagari, if you are familiar with. Pa is written like this. That small knot on pa makes it ma. He says that knot is ahankara. Whenever a person gets any pada, if that pada comes with this pride, that Rajapada or any pada, it will transform into mada. By itself, that Rajapada is not a bad thing. We should not label it in general and say, any position anybody gets, that person will be corrupted by it. Bhagwan Rama said here, Sunahu lakhana bhala bharata sarisa. About that, 231, just see the above chaupai. Jo achavatan rupa mata hi tei, nahin sadhu sabha jehi sei. Who will get corrupted by power? Those people who have not done sadhu sabha. He says they alone will get corrupted by this power, not everybody. And definitely not Bharatji. So first point he says, the pa with that knot of ego becomes mother. Then second he says, the position which is there is not inherently bad. He gives a nice example. He says, grape fruit which is there, grapes, we generally eat it during upvasa. So that fruit is so good, it can be eaten in upvasa. But if you are not alert, you allow it to spoil, ferment. Same thing becomes wine. This is grape by itself is not good or bad. Depends on how we use it. Like that he says, Rajapada by itself is not good or bad. Depends on what happens when we sit there. So that is the thought of Bharatji. He says Bharatji will never have this kind of pride and arrogance. Why is that? Because he has done sadhu sabha. I don't know how my cough knows exactly when the class is. Whole day it is quiet. So this sadhu sabha, he has tasted that bliss. That is why he will not get corrupted by this power. Then he elaborates a little bit more. What does sadhu sabha do? First thing sadhu sabha does is, if we go to any Santa Mahatma or we listen to their work, Bhaj Govindam, any text, one thing it will do is keep us very grounded. Doesn't matter who that person is. He might be a big king, might have gotten Rajapada. There is one full portion in Srimad Bhagavatam where Shukdevji Maharaj tells Parikshitji what is the futility of being proud of all these positions. He says there were so many great kings. Where did they all go? They went empty-handed to the same place from where they came. He says, don't be too proud of this. It is only glitter and glamour of 2 days. When it will go away, you never know. So he says this Rajapada, first thing sadhu sabha will do is it will keep us grounded. And he says second thing sadhu sabha does is it reminds us of this fact that in every person that we are serving, there is our same Ishtadevata present in each and every being. This bhavana, to get strong, we need lot of satsang. It is not a passing thought that God is all pervading. That passing thought doesn't bring change in our transaction. But constant satsang and surrender to a sadhu, to their words, that brings this understanding that Bhagwan whom I worship in one form is seated in each and every person. So having sat on the throne as a king, if that king gives pain to his subjects, Bhagwan says, you are giving pain to me. This in 17th chapter also Bhagwan says, Karshayanta sharirastham. Those people who give torture to their own body, he says they are giving torture to me because I am the one seated in every body. So these two things get more ingrained in that person. Through that, this Rajapada doesn't bring mother. Ram Kinkarji has given a lot of points. I just picked the key points. 1 hour he spoke means imagine how much of depth is there in this chaupai. But he just says, the first part is to appreciate how that Rajapada brings mother through ahankar. And how will it get removed? Through satsang, when we hear about impermanence of this whole universe, including this position. That brings down the pride. That should bring down the pride. And second, he says, when we really understand what is devotion, not only worshipping God in one form, worshipping God in each and every person, he says that will bring down our mother. Now Bhagwan is ecstatic in his love for Bharatji. Generally it is Bhakta who sings glory of Bhagavan. This is a unique portion where Bhagwan is singing glory of Bhakta. You see what he gives beautiful metaphors after 231. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Timiru taruna taranihi makugilai, Gaganu maganamaku meghahi milai, Gopada jalabudahi ghata joni, Sahaj chama baru chade choni, Masaka phuka maku meru udai, Hoi nandrupa madhu bharatahi bhai, Lakhana tumhara sapatha सुचि सुबंधु नहीं भरत समान, सगुन खीरु अवगुण जलुतात, मिलई रचई पर पंचु विधात, भरतु हम सर बिबम सतड़ागा, जनमि कीन्ह गुण दोष विभागा, गहि गुण पयत जी अवगुण बारी, निज जस जगत कीन्हि उजियारी, कहत भरत गुणशील स्वभाव, प्रेम पयोधि मगन रघुराऊ, सुनि रघुबर बानी विबुध, देखि भरत पर हेतु, सकल सराहत राम सो, प्रभु को कृपा निकेतु। जो न होत जग जन्म भरत को, सकल धर्म धुर धरनि धरत को, कवि कुल अगम भरत गुण गाथा, को जानई तुम बिनु रघुनाथ, लखन राम सिय सुनि सुर बाली, अति सुख लहेउ न जाई बखानी, इहा भरतु सब सहित सहाय, मंदाकिनी पुनीत नहाय, सरित समीप राखी सब लोगा, मागी मातु गुर सचिवनि योगा, चले भरतु जह सिय रघुराई, साथ निषाद नाथु लघु भाई, समुझि मातु कर तब सकुचाई, करत कुतरक कोटि मन माही, रामु लखनु सिय सुनि मम नाऊ, उठि जनि अनित जाहि तजि ठाऊ, मातु मते महु मानि मोहि, जो कछु करहि सो थोर, अघव गुण छमि आदरहि समुझि आपनी ओर सियावर की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय मापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Bhagwan gives different examples to show impossibility of things, and he says impossible can become possible, but Bharatji's mind cannot get corrupted by Rajapada. Very nice examples are given. First he says Timiru Taruna Taranahi Maku Gilai. It is possible that darkness comes and swallows the sun. Midday sun is there. Means how can darkness come even close to sun? But it is possible, he says. Darkness can come and swallow the sun. Gaganu Magana Maku Megahi Milai. The cloud became bigger and bigger and bigger and swallowed space. Space which is untouched. That space got swallowed by cloud. He says that is possible. Agastya Rishi, who was known to drink the whole ocean, he might get drowned in a puddle of water as big as the hoof of a cow. Cow's hoof, how much puddle of water is there? In that, Agastya Rishi can get drowned. And Prithvi Mata, which is known to have the quality of forbearance, she can let go of that quality, but he says Bharatji cannot get intoxicated by Rajamada. Sitting on that Rajapada, he will not get intoxicated by that position. Then Mount Meru can get blown away by the blow of a mosquito. Masaka Pooka Maku Meru Udai Hoina Nrupapada Bharatahi Bhai. Sitting on this throne, Bharatji will not get deluded. Lakana tumhara sapata pitu ana suchi subandha nahi Bharata samana. Now Bhagwan is telling something which is very interesting. Lakshmanji, he loved very dearly. But he is telling Lakshmanji that I say in your name that there is nobody as pure as Bharatji, nobody as dear to me as Bharatji. Means when can he say such a thing? Only when he is so close to Lakshmanji, he knows that he will not misunderstand. He will not suddenly say, I left my home, I left my family to serve you. And today when it comes to choosing who is dear, you are telling me Bharatji is dear. On the top of it, I was the one who wanted to protect you. Bharatji came with his army. None of those things. His tuning with Bhagwan is such, he says if Bhagwan says something, it has to be true. Puju Guruji gave a nice example for this. He said, if let us say you are invited to some friend's home for dinner and you are getting ready to go to your friend's home. Right when you are ready to go, your friend comes home. Your friend comes home and he says, oh, I thought you were home. You say, no, I have another friend who has invited me home, but I'm glad to see you. Why don't you also come? What will that friend say? No, I'm not invited. You are invited, you go. I'm not invited. But you insist. You say, no, don't worry. You come with me. So when can you say such a statement? When you are so close to the friend who has invited you that you know that the friend who is invited will not mind if you bring one more person. You say like that, Bharatji, our Lakshmanji and Bhagwan are so tuned. He knows that even if he praises Bharatji, he will not feel bad. Now he says a very important life lesson to Lakshmanji. Saguna Khiru. The previous Chopai we saw it. Lakhana tumhara sapata pitu ana, suchi subandha, nahi bharata samana. Suchi means pure, subandha means good relative, good person like Bharatji. There is nobody. He says, how did Brahmaji make this world? Saguna khiru avaguna jala tata. He made this world by mixing milk and water. What is milk? He says milk is good qualities, guna. What is water? Erroneous qualities or dosha. Anything you take in this world, any person you take in this world, or you take yourself, we take ourselves only, we will find both these qualities, guna and dosha. If we see only guna, that means we have raga in that place. Any object or person, if we think this person is only good qualities, only guna, it is said that is one sign of raga. And if we see only bad qualities somewhere, only dosha somewhere, that is sign of dvesha. Because Bhagwan himself says, you will never find anything with only dosha. You will never find anything with only guna. And the beauty of a saint is such, in the midst of both these things, they are able to take only guna and leave behind dosha. Milai rachai prapanchu bidhata. God has made this creation by mixing both. But Bharatji, what is his beauty? Like a swan bird, drinks only milk, leaves behind water. Like that, he is separating milk and water, taking only milk, gahi guna paya, taje avaguna bari, and leaving behind water. Nija jaisa jagat keen hi ujiyari. Because of this quality, he became famous worldwide. Important thing to note here is, water is left behind, not dried up. What does it mean? Dosha has to be left behind, not necessarily corrected. Swan bird takes milk, nourishes itself, moves on. It doesn't worry about the water which is left behind. Like that, commentators, they emphasize on this word taji. Taji means guna is taken and dosha is left behind. Because both are part of creation, we don't have to worry about everything in this creation. Kahata Bharata guna sila subhavu. He says Bharatji's nature is so modest, his nature is so good in all ways. And while saying this, Bhagwan goes in samadhi. Pema payodhi magana raghurai. In the love that he has for Bharatji, in that love, his mind just keeps drowning. They say, it is important what Bhakta thinks about Bhagwan. What does Bhakta think about Bhagwan? His nature, his qualities, everything he has to think. But what is even more beautiful is what Bhagwan thinks about Bhakta. That part also we should think. Over here, Bhagwan has such high regards, so much of faith in Bharatji. Bharatji previously had said, anybody in the world can doubt me, but not Bhagwan Rama and Sita ji. That is what he is elaborating here. Suni Raghubara Bani Bibuda Deki Bharata Parahetu. Looking at this speech of Bhagwan Rama and his love that he has for Bharatji, all the devatas, they started rejoicing. Sakala Sarahata Ramaso Prabhu Ko Krupani Ketu. They said, who is there who is more compassionate than Bhagwan Rama? That he doesn't hesitate to praise his devotee also. Now devatas continue. This line is very popular. Jana hota jaga janama bharatako. Sakala dharma dhura dharani dharatako. They say, devatas say, if Bharatji was not born, who would be there in this world to hold the axle of dharma? Dharma is like a wheel. The wheel to stay strong, you need the axle to be strong. Is it Bharatji is the axle who holds the wheel of dharma? Dhura means axle. Dharma dhura, dharani dharatako. In this world, Bharatji is the one who established the epitome of dharma. Not only samanya dharma, doing good, living a good life, moral life, ethical life, but also the dharma of devotion to God. Where if you just look at it dharmically, he could have sat on that throne. But what did Bharatji say? Hita hamara siyapati sevakai. Our well-being is not in getting any material accomplishment. Our well-being is in serving the Lord. He says all these points, only Bharatji could bring it out. Bharatji's charitra, devatas say, is beyond the description of any kavi, any poet. Ko janai tuma binu raghunatha. Only Bhagwan Rama can understand Bharatji, praise Bharatji in the right way. Next chaupai is very interesting. Having heard the words of devatas. Remember the sequence. Bharatji comes, Lakshmanji gets angry, devatas Akashvani happens, Bhagwan Rama speaks. He just concluded his speech. Then again devatas spoke. Right after that, what happened? Lakhana Ramasiya Sunisura Bani. Ati sukha laheu na jai bakhani. Having heard the words of devatas, 3 people felt very happy. So much so happy that their happiness cannot be described. Out of these 3, 2 are not surprising. Bhagwan Rama felt happy, Sitaji felt happy. But who felt happy? The third person? Lakshmanji also. And that is one quality of Lakshmanji. He has his opinions. He gets angry also. But he has so much love for Bhagwan. Once Bhagwan says something, very quickly he tunes with the Lord. These are all journey of a jiva. If a jiva never gets angry, never gets annoyed, it's a Siddha Purusha. Already accomplished soul. Great master. But what is the sadhana for a sadhaka? Even if we get angry, even if we get annoyed, even if we think otherwise, once Guru and Shastra point us, this is the way to think, then this person can align very quickly. That Leela Lakshmanji is doing here. Otherwise, you see in 5 chaupais, that same Lakshmanji who was so angry at Bharatji, he said, we will finish him today, he has done wrong to us right from childhood. Right here he says, Lakhana Ramasiya Sunisura Bani, Ati Sukha Laheuna Jai Bakhani. He felt so happy that his happiness cannot be described. I mean, that is the way he has trained his mind. Where else did we see this? When Parshuramji came. His anger was so much, Parshuramji says something, Lakshmanji says something. Parshuramji says something, he says something. But once Bhagwan told him that your role is done, I will take care. Right after that, he quietens down. It is said, one of the quality of a good devotee, they should know the rukha of Prabhu. Prabhu rukha jani. Rukha means, what does my Lord want? This is true for any sevaka. Sevaka will have a Swami. If we say, I am a sevaka, I have no Swami, then I am serving myself. Sevaka's tuning with Swami should be such that sevaka should understand rukha of Swami. Rukha means, what does he want? What is his desire? What will make him happy? Having understood that, he does exactly what is there. Now see the beauty, huh? Bhagwan will always want us to do dharma. if any adharmic thought comes, we will never get endorsement from inside. So the greatness of devotion is, if we tune with Bhagwan, tune with teaching of Shastra, we will always end up doing what is right. So Lakshmanji does that. Now Goswamiji shifts to Bharatji's camp. Iha Bharat sab sahita sahaye mandakini punitanahaye. There is a special way in which our Goswamiji uses the word iha and uha. Wherever he keeps himself, there he says iha. And wherever he wants to keep it separate from him, he says uha. So if it is conversation between Bhagwan Rama and Ravana, he will always keep himself with Bhagwan Rama. So he will say, iha, this happened. They sat and they were looking at the moon. Bhagwan asked different people to give their opinions about the moon. Iha, he will say. And uha, Ravana was there and he was very proud and confident that he will win over Bhagwan. But his mukuta went and fell away. So like that he will use uha. But here is an interesting pair. One is Bharatji's camp, another is Bhagwan Rama's camp. But between both of them, he chooses to be with Bharatji. He says, Iha Bharutu saba sahita sahaye mandakini punitanahaye. Bharatji is here. They took a dip in Mandakini river. Sarita samipa raki saba loga. They kept all the army, entire army, on the banks of the river. Magi matu gura sachivani yoga. Taking the permission of mother and guru. They say, all of us cannot go to Bhagwan's scooter right away. So 3 of us will go. Myself, Shatrugnaji, and our Nishadraj. He will show us the way. 3 of us will go. Samuji matu karataba sakuchahi, karata kutarka, koti manamahi. While going, Bharatji's mind suddenly goes back to what Kaikeyi has done. This point is very interesting. In spite of meeting so many saints, in spite of meeting so many divine interventions, this thought is still bothering Bharatji. Why did I do this? One commentator, he says, this is the quality of sarva bhuta hite rataha. Means devotee's heart is such, he doesn't want to think ill of anybody. Forget about doing ill. And in this case, Bharatji himself has not done any ill also. But he thinks even if Kaikeyi has done something, that also is my responsibility. I mean, that just shows his quality of sarva bhuta hite rata. That he doesn't want anybody to suffer, but what to talk about somebody like Bhagwan Rama suffering because of whatever reason. He says, Ramu Lakhanu siye suni mama now. If Bhagwan Rama, Sitaji and Lakshmanji, if they hear my name, I hope they don't abandon the kutir and run somewhere else. If I am coming, if they hear, I hope they don't change their position and go somewhere else. Matu mate mahu mani muhi jo kachu karahi suthora. On the other hand, he says it is okay. Given what Kaikeyi has done, whatever Bhagwan does is justified only. Given how much suffering he had to go through, whatever he does is justified. Aga avaguna chami adarahi samuji apani or. But Bhagwan is such, looking at his own qualities, his own nature, reminding himself of his large-heartedness, he will forgive me of all my sins. With this idea, with this understanding, Bharatji is going further. Next Shaupai is beautiful. He says, what is the sutra in Sharanagati? What is the one of the main feeling in Sharanagati? He says, whatever the Lord wants to do with me, let him do. I'm not insisting he should do A or he should do B. Option A is, if he is going to let go of me, thinking that I have an impure mind, he says, so be it. Jo pariharahi malina manu jani. Malina manu means impure mind, thinking I have an impure mind. If he is letting go of me, let him let go. Jo sana manahi sevakumani. Or if he thinks I am his sevaka and he brings me close and makes me sit with him, he says, let him do that. Either case, I'm okay. More sarana ramahi ki panahi. Panahi means padukas. It's a very colloquial word. It says, my sharanam, my surrender is the Lord's feet. Having had that surrender, whatever he does, I'm okay. Let him do what he wants. That word panahi comes in another doha. There was one famous saint, Kumbhandasji. He was contemporary of Tulsidasji, Goswami Tulsidasji, Mirabai, Bhakti movement saints. One day Akbar Raja calls him. He says, come to my court. I want you to compose few things in my court. He sends a note to Akbar. Santan ko kaha sikari so kam. What does a saint, Santa, have to do with Sikari? Fatehpur Sikri was his capital. Santan ko kaha Sikari so kam. Avat jata panaya tute. The only thing which will happen in this, if I say yes, is while going and coming, my only set of footwear that I have will fall apart. Avata jata panaya tute. Another thing will happen. Bisari gayo harinam. Because you have invited me to such a big place, I will prepare and tell everybody, and by the time I go, in that duration, I will forget to take God's name. But the word there is panaya. Avata jata panaya tute. Padukas. That word is used here, panahi. He says, whatever happens, either Bhagwan gives me some kind of unpleasant experience if he lets go of me, or he gives me a pleasant experience, calls me near, makes me sit near him. In either case, I am not going to let go of him. That is the main point. It is not that if he gives me option A, I will turn back. And if he is promising option B, which is pleasant one, I will go near. This devotee says, either way, I won't let go of him. There was another saint. He would say, दोनों की तरफ से मजबूरी है. Majburi means helplessness. Devotee's helplessness is he cannot let go of God. Like Bharatji says here. He says, you do whatever you want, Bhagwan, I will not let go of you. The helplessness on God's side is he cannot let go of us. Samashti, even if it wants, it cannot let go of Yashti. Samashti, even if it wants, it cannot let go of Vyashti. Because without Vyashti, it will become finite. Infinity, if it excludes one small thing, then that infinity will not remain infinity, it will become finite. So इसे दोनों की तरफ से मजबूरी है. Helplessness from both sides. Devotee cannot let go of God. God cannot let go of devotee. Bharatji says there are two people who are praiseworthy. One is the Chataka bird, another is the fish. They are so devout in their vow that once they have taken a vow, they will not go back on it. And they are so devout in their love. Fish you remove from that water, it gives its prana. It doesn't have any other options. Is it like that? They are great devotees as though of the Lord. Asamana gunata chale magajata sakucha saneha sitila sabagata. Like this he is thinking in his mind, and his body is as though weak from this thought of guilt. Pherati manahu matu kuta khori. Goswamiji, the way he gives metaphors, he says Bharatji, on one hand, is getting pulled back. On another hand, he is going further. So one step backward, two step forward. One step backward, two step forward. What is pulling him back? Manahu matu kruta khori. Whatever his mother Kaikeyi has done, those thoughts are pulling him back. When he remembers everything, how she spoke to Bhagwan Rama, how she exiled him to the forest along with Sita ji, that pulls him back. He says, I am her son. Now I have to go and face Bhagwan. Jalap chalata bhagati bala dhiraja dhori. But on the other hand, he has so much love for God, love for Bhagwan Rama. He says, I cannot stand here. So his love is pushing him forward and Kaikeyi's deeds are pulling him back. And how does he look? Jab samujata raghunatha subhau taba pata parata utaila pau. When he remembers Bhagwan's nature, suddenly he gets a lot of enthusiasm. He goes further, walks faster. But then he remembers Kaikeyi, then again he slows down. How does he look? Bharata dasatihi avasara kaisi jala prabah jala aligati jaisi. If you have seen a swan bird flying on water, swan bird when it is flying on water, if it is just flying, it goes straight. If it is just in water, it will go slow pace, it will go. But if it is just taking hops on water, you see there is some obstruction. It will go, put its foot down here, slow down, again it will go, slow down, again it will go and slow down. Like that, Bharatji is walking towards the Lord. On one hand, his love is pushing him forward. Other hand, the guilt is pulling him backwards. Deki Bharata kara sochu sanehu bha nishadatehi samaya bidehu. Looking at Bharatji's love, Nishad Raj, who had come to show the way, he himself forgot the way. He himself became Bideha, forgot body identification. This is a beautiful dhyanam. Bharatji's dhyanam is on Bhagwan Rama. Nishad Raj's dhyanam is on Bharatji. And both are attaining samadhi. Bharatji by meditating upon the Lord, and Nishad Raj by looking at Bharatji. Log lage ho na mangala saguna, suni guna kahata nishadu. Nishad Raj is very good in astrology. Remember previously somebody sneezed and then the whole plan got changed. But you see what he says, look at his prediction. Mita hi sochu, first thing what will happen is all our sorrows will come to an end. Hoi harashu, after that everything will be happy. Puni parinama bishadu, after that everything will be sad again. That is his forecast. Means in general what our life is. Same thing, right? Sometimes there is sorrow, after that everything is good. Again it will be sorrow, again it will be good. Actually it's very easy, astrology. In newspaper they print those different signs and say this week what is the prediction. Sometimes you have to read some other sign also. And more or less you will see it applies to you. In general, same things are written. Most of these things. I'm not an expert. If you are knowledgeable about it, don't feel I'm criticizing or anything. But it is said, this is Siddhanta actually point. Overall, our life is made up of punya and papa. We get human birth because there is a mixed bag of punya and papa. If only punya was there, we would have become devatas. Indra loka, some higher loka we would have gone. Only papa, lower degrees of freedom. Asuryana amate lokaha, andhena tamasavrutaha. Means those life forms where there are less degrees of freedom. That is insignia of greater papa karma. And mix of both is Manushya Loka, Manushya Sharira. So nobody can say there have been only good things all through my life. And nobody can say there has been only sorrow all through my life. So Nishad Raj predicts that. He says, little bit of sukham, little bit of dukkham, but right now I see in the end there will be dukkham. Means what? We came to take Bhagwan along with us. He is not going to come back. That is the sorrow. Now the next part is actually very beautiful. When he sees the ashram of Bhagwan Rama, how does he feel? That ashram is so nicely described, and at the same time Goswamiji gives a metaphor of inner Ayodhya. The elaboration of the chaupai that Sumitra ji had said. When Lakshmanji goes to meet Sumitra ji, she says, Lakshmanji tells Sumitra ji, give me permission to go with Bhagwan Rama. We are going on Vanavasa. Sumitra ji says, your understanding is a little bit flawed. We are going on Vanavasa. You are going to Ayodhya. He says, why is that? Avadataha jaha Ramanivasu. Ayodhya is there where Bhagwan Rama is. So if he is in the forest, your Ayodhya is in the forest. What about us? He says, 14 years we are on Vanavasa, separated from the Lord. So what is that symbolic Ayodhya where Bhagwan is and the Ayodhya kingdom is around him? That metaphor Goswamiji brings here. But we'll not rush through it. We'll see in the next session. Aganita Gunagana Bhushan Rama Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Rama Ayodhyavasi Sita Rama Apad Bandhava Jaya Jaya Rama Dasharatha Nandana Shri Rama Dashamukha Mardana Jaya Jaya Rama Kausalya Sukhavardhana Rama Kamita Phalada Jaya Jaya Rama Papa Vimochana Shri Rama Pattabhi Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Val Jaya Raghu Rama Jaya Sita Rama Vanar Sevita Shri Rama Varidhi Bandhana Jaya Jaya Rama Hanumat Pujita Sita Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Raghupati Raghava Raja Rama Patita Pavana Sita Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Syavara Ramachandra ki jai Satgurunath Maharaj ki jai. During our Thanksgiving camp, we had done Shiva Mahimna Stotram, very beautiful stories on Lord Shiva. Some stories that we might not have heard otherwise are covered in Shiva Mahimna Stotram. So we had come up with a booklet which has the word by word meaning, the Anvaya, the English meaning, all of it for every verse of Shiva Mahimna Stotram. The discourses are there uploaded online. So those of you who want to listen to that and also refer to the book, the physical copy is available. Few copies, limited copies are there in our bookstore. Before they run out, if you want it, please do take it. We'll continue with Mundaka tomorrow morning.